who destroyed the Nalanda University.
Yeah, this has recently become contentious again. A few years ago, it is D.N. Jha who wrote that this is done by fanatical Hindus, and who denied explicitly that this was done by Bakhtiyar Khilji. You see, Bakhtiyar Khilji was one of the lieutenants of Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori conquered Delhi in 1192, and then he sent on his troops Shah Suran Ghori, his nephew, and Bakhtiyar Khilji, and a few more into the Ganga Valley. So they conquered it up to Assam, and they destroyed everything in their way. This was the biggest orgy of iconoclasm ever in history. So all the temples in Varanasi were destroyed. Well, this is a point on which I disagree with Meenakshi Jain. I say that the Rama temple was destroyed then, the big Rama temple of which the foundations have been found by archaeologists underneath the Babri Masjid. Okay, so that temple was destroyed already in 1192. Later Hindus may have reconquered it and done something with it, but the big temple, that had been destroyed at the end of the 12th century. And so they also destroyed the Buddhist institutions in Bihar, their historical center, including Nalanada University. And the source that D.N. Jha bases himself on is by a Tibetan who wrote a century or so later. And so he doesn't say fanatical Hindus, but he describes it as happening in India. Looking at it from Tibet, these Muslim interlopers are a part of the Indian landscape. Of course, they were not native there. They came from somewhere in the West. How far in the West? Western India or beyond India, that's all not known to him. So in a way, you see that expression of fanatical Indians. At that time, Hindu and Indian were pretty much synonymous, except for Muslim Indians. So you see that it doesn't exclude at all what we know from better sources as being the doing of Bakhtiyar Khilji, which is, for instance, testified by the Muslim chronicler Minhaj-e-Siraj. So it is quite certain that it was Bakhtiyar Khilji, and so it's not the doing of Hindus at all. On the contrary, you see, from the time of the Buddha onwards until 1194 or so, that these institutions have existed. Nalanda was founded somewhere beginning of the Christian era, but other institutions already existed, and so they all continue to exist until the end of the 12th century. So what Jha is saying, in fact, amounts to this. You see, all these Hindu kings, they were just sitting in waiting, lying in waiting, watching these Buddhist institutions, just holding their fire for 1700 years, from the time of the Buddha till the end of the 12th century. And for 17 centuries, they were just letting it all happen. They were letting the Buddhists, going about their business. And then suddenly, in the sight of the Islamic invasion that was coming, they quickly set all these Buddhist institutions on fire so that the Islamic invaders couldn't do it anymore. They couldn't set them into fire because they had already burned down. That's, in fact, what D.N. Jha says. This is, how ridiculous can you get? That's the length to which they go in order to deny the Islamic guilt in this regard, or to somehow make the Hindus equally guilty. So now you see, you can rest assured that if you start Nalanda again, it's not Hindus who are going to destroy it.